When I talk about loyalty, I'm not talking about something that's easy. I'm talking about the moments when life hits you the hardest, when everything you thought was certain starts to fall apart. That's when loyalty is truly tested. It's easy to stand tall when the sun is shining, when people are cheering for you, and when everything is going your way. But when the lights go out, when the applause stops, when the world turns its back on you, that's when you find out who you really are. A loyal man doesn't run when things get uncomfortable. He doesn't hide when the pressure comes. He stands right there, face to face with the storm, and says, I'm not going anywhere. I've seen so many people in life who are only loyal when it benefits them. They're there when you win, but they vanish when you fall. That's not loyalty. That's convenience. A loyal man doesn't measure his commitment by comfort. He measures it by character. When you stand strong through the hard times, you prove that your word actually means something. And let me tell you, that's rare. The world is full of people who will tell you they've got your back, but only a few who'll still be there when it's broken. You can't build anything great without loyalty. Not a friendship, not a family, not a dream. Because every time you hit an obstacle, every time doubt creeps in, loyalty is what keeps you moving forward. It's that inner voice that says, no matter how hard this gets, I'm not giving up. And that's the difference between success and failure. The ability to stay loyal to your vision when nobody believes in it. You've got to believe when others don't. You've got to keep pushing when it hurts. Because the world won't hand you loyalty, you have to live it. When you commit to something, whether it's your dream, your purpose, or the people you love, don't back down when it gets tough. That's when it matters most. Anyone can stay when it's easy, but it takes real strength, real heart to stay when it's not. A loyal man doesn't quit because of fear, failure, or frustration. He fights through it because it's fun, but because he said he would. That's what separates the talkers from the doers. You see, loyalty isn't a word, it's a choice. It's made every single day, in every action, in every decision. It's staying true even when nobody's watching. It's standing firm even when the ground shakes. It's keeping your promises because someone's checking, but because that's who you are. So when life gets dark, when it feels like the world is testing your limits, don't bend, don't break, and don't walk away. Stand strong. That's what loyalty is all about. Before you can be loyal to anyone else, you have to be loyal to yourself. That's where everything begins. You can't talk about loyalty if you break the promises you make to your own soul. You can't expect others to trust you if you don't trust your own word. It's easy to say, I'll do it tomorrow. It's easy to say, I'll start when I feel ready. But a loyal man doesn't wait for the perfect moment. He creates it. Loyalty to yourself means doing what needs to be done even when you don't feel like it. It means showing up for your own life every single day without excuses. When you tell yourself you'll wake up early and you actually do it, that's loyalty. When you promise to push harder even when you're tired, that's loyalty. It's about building discipline, one small action at a time. You don't need to make big speeches to prove it. You prove it in the silence of your grind. That's where real strength is built. In those quiet moments when nobody sees you, nobody claps, and nobody notices, but you still give it everything you've got. Because loyalty to yourself isn't about being perfect, it's about being consistent. You can't build a strong life on weak habits. You can't talk about success if you're not willing to be loyal to the process. Everyone wants the result, but not everyone is willing to pay the price. A loyal man doesn't cheat himself out of the life he's meant to live. He doesn't lie to himself with words like maybe or someday. He commits. He keeps his own word like it's sacred. That's what builds confidence, not from people's opinions, but from your own actions. Every time you follow through on a promise to yourself, earn respect from the only person that truly matters, you. And when you live that way, something powerful happens. You stop needing validation. You stop chasing approval. You start standing taller because you know who you are. That's what loyalty does. It builds a foundation inside you that can't be shaken by anyone's doubt or criticism. You become your own backbone, your own motivation, your own proof that you can. When you're loyal to your own vision, the noise fades away, the distractions lose power. Begin to move differently, with purpose, with pride, with certainty. Loyalty to yourself isn't selfish, it's necessary. You can't pour strength into others if you're empty inside. You can't keep promises to others if you constantly break your own. Be the kind of man whose word means something, especially to himself. Stay true, stay disciplined, and never betray the person you're becoming. That's the foundation of every great man. Loyalty that starts from within. Loyalty in relationships is one of the hardest things to find today because too many people wear masks. They talk about loyalty when it's easy, but when it's time to prove it, they disappear. Real loyalty doesn't come from words, it comes from actions. You can tell someone you care about them every day, but if your actions don't back it up, your words mean nothing. Loyalty is not about convenience. It's about commitment. The kind of commitment that doesn't fade when things get uncomfortable. When you truly care about someone, a friend, a partner, a brother, you don't walk away when they fall. You stay, you fight, you help them stand again, even if it costs you something. A loyal man understands that trust is sacred. Once you break it, it's almost impossible to rebuild. That's why he protects it like gold. He doesn't betray, he doesn't lie, and he doesn't talk behind people's backs. He knows loyalty isn't about being perfect, it's about being real. It's about showing up even when it's hard. A loyal man doesn't pretend to care, he genuinely does. And when he gives his word, it's a bond. It's not something he throws around lightly. We live in a time where loyalty has become rare because too many people trade it for temporary comfort. A bit of attention, a moment of pleasure, a selfish gain. But a loyal man knows that real strength comes from standing by the people who stood by you when no one else did. He doesn't forget where he came from. He doesn't abandon those who helped him climb. That's what loyalty looks like. It's remembering who believed in you before anyone else did. Staying true even when the world tempts you to switch sides. And loyalty isn't about who's watching you. The real test happens in silence when no one will ever find out. Do you still keep your promise? Do you still defend their name when they're not around? That's where loyalty lives, in the unseen moments. Loyalty that needs recognition isn't loyalty, it's performance. A loyal man doesn't need applause, he needs a clear conscience. Care if the world sees it. He knows who he is when no one else does. So if you want to build relationships that last, be the one who doesn't flinch when things get tough. Be the one who chooses truth over comfort, respect over popularity, and loyalty over everything else. Because at the end of the day, people won't remember what you said, they'll remember how you stood by them when it mattered most. That's the mark of a loyal man. A loyal man doesn't just live for the moment, he builds something that lasts long after he's gone. Loyalty is more than a word, it's the legacy you leave behind. When you live your life with loyalty at the center, people remember you not for how much you had, but for how much you stood for. They remember the man who didn't break when things got hard, who didn't turn his back when life tested him. That's what separates a loyal man from the rest. He becomes the kind of person others can trust even when everything else around them feels uncertain. You see, loyalty creates a ripple effect. When you stay true, you inspire others to do the same. Your actions teach people what strength really looks like. It's not the loudest man in the room who commands respect. It's the one who shows up time and time again without needing credit. A loyal man leaves an example that others follow, not because he demanded it, but because he lived it. His loyalty becomes a blueprint for his friends, his family, his community. When people talk about you years from now, they won't talk about your possessions or your achievements. They'll talk about your character, how you made them feel safe, how you stood by your values, how you didn't betray your word when it was easier to walk away. That's legacy. A loyal man's name carries weight because it represents integrity, honesty, and strength. Kind of respect can't be bought. It's earned one loyal act at a time. Loyalty builds the foundation of everything that lasts. Families, friendships, and even dreams. Can't create greatness without loyalty because loyalty is what keeps you grounded. It's what keeps your relationships alive through struggle and keeps your goals alive through doubt. When you're loyal to your purpose, you never lose direction. When you're loyal to your people, you never lose connection. And when you're loyal to your word, you never lose respect. There's something powerful about a man who stays loyal even when he has every reason not to. The world notices. People may not always thank you, but they will never forget you. They'll talk about how you stayed real in a world that's full of fakes, how you stayed humble when you could have been proud, and how you stayed true when it was easier to lie. That's what makes your story worth remembering, because loyalty doesn't just shape your life, it shapes your legacy. The money fades, the fame disappears, but the respect of being a loyal man never dies. That's the kind of strength that lives forever, not in the spotlight, but in the hearts of those who felt your loyalty. Be that man, the one they can trust, the one they can count on, the one who never forgot who he was.